I don't know if you guys are going to find this video interesting or not, and I'm not really even sure like what the hook of this video is. It's just a story I want to tell. It's just something that I want to talk about. Maybe you are aware of this, or perhaps you've been sleeping under a rock, but yesterday, or I guess it maybe is, depending on when I published this, a couple of days ago, on October the 10th, we had a geomagnetic storm, I guess is the proper term, basically resulting in the northern lights, the aurora borealis, being visible very, very far south. I'm here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and much to my great excitement, the aurora borealis, the northern lights, was going to be visible. So I got ready and I thought, of all the phones I have, I've got my Pixel 9 Pro Fold, S23 Ultra, OnePlus Open, Z Fold 6, and of course the Pixel 9 Pro XL. I thought this is the one, the Pixel 9 Pro XL astrophotography mode. This is the one I'm going to use. So I charged it up and I got ready. Now, if you don't know, these phones actually have a pretty cool feature. If you jump into the camera application, you have the night sight option down there, but if the phone detects that it is being very, very still, it will basically unlock a different sort of feature. You can see it just changed in the bottom right. It went from a timer to little stars, and no, that is not the AI icon, that is astrophotography mode. Again, it has to be very still, so put it into a tripod and it's going to unlock this, point it towards the sky, and click that button, and it's going to take like a 4-minute exposure. Now, I will say you might not actually need to go as far as using the astrophotography mode and having a 4-minute exposure. It might be enough to just switch over to night sight or whatever the night mode is on your phone and do 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds worth of an exposure. But with night sight, or with the astrophotography mode, I should say, you're going to be able to see the stars, and if there's trees in the foreground, those are going to be much sharper, and you're going to kind of see how that works, what that looks like, as we look at some of the photos that I managed to get through the night with my Pixel 9 Pro XL. So at 8 p.m., I went outside, I put my Pixel into the tripod, I took a 4-minute exposure, and guys, I was so very excited that this had a pinkish hue. It's rather obvious up here in these corners. We zoom in, you can see how many stars this was already picking up, and the sun was down, but it was actually still bright to the west, and obviously I'm pointing to the north, so the sky is going to get a lot darker than this, but I was already seeing that pinkish hue. Very, very exciting. At 8:19, I took another exposure, and this was disappointing because the pinkness had almost totally left the sky. I was still getting lots of stars and so forth using astrophotography mode, but it seemed like that sort of the aurora borealis was weakening, and apparently that's pretty par for the course. With these geomagnetic storms, they can kind of ebb and flow. They can get more intense, they can get less intense, and it seemed like I saw something pretty good there at 8, but as time went on, it was getting weaker. But, man oh man, let me just tell you, it was going to ramp up. But not before a near disaster struck. This is my Wise camera, and you can see my dogs running around outside. There's Rutherford and there's Rose, and they're barking and being silly. And then out the doggy door, or actually the door was just open, out the door, like a rocket ship, comes Jet. Being very appropriate to her name, like a jet. She comes flying out the door, and it's dark. She does not see my tripod, and this is while it is doing a long exposure. She runs into the tripod and knocks my phone down. It hits the ground. And again, this is my Pixel 9 Pro XL, and it was in this official case. Here's the good news. The phone is absolutely fine. There was a little bit of a dirty scuff on this corner because it actually landed. You can't really see this all that well, but there's a sidewalk right here. It's concrete. You can kind of see it here. It landed on that concrete, and when I realized that's what had happened, I was kind of worried. But everything's fine. Took the case off. Everything looks great underneath the screen. It's totally pristine. So an inadvertent drop test performed during this astrophotography session. And in case you're wondering, here was the photo that I got of my grass and a little bit of fence. But then I set everything back up, It's getting darker. It's getting more intense. Now it is 9:09. I take another exposure, and wow, I thought this was going to be my shot of the night. How cool does this look? So many stars being picked up. This very obvious, like, pink section here in the middle. I was so happy to have gotten this shot. We had back in May something like this happen, but there was cloud cover, and I think something happened that I missed it. But the next night I tried to go out and it wasn't as intense and there was too much cloud, so I really didn't get anything at all. So getting this shot, I was absolutely elated, but guys, it would get better. But strangely, it would actually weaken again a little bit first. You can clearly see this pink area, but it's not nearly as obvious as it was here. So I actually just went back inside. I kind of figured, well, I got my really good shot, and that's probably going to be it. I'm watching Thursday night football, and I just randomly decide I'm just going to step outside one more time and see what it looks like. And when I did, my mind was blown because I was told that this far south, we would likely only be able to see this through our camera, not with our eyes. But guys, I could see it with my eyes. I could visibly see it. So I stuck my head in the door and I yelled to my wife, "You have to come outside right now." I grabbed my phone again and took this next shot. This time with my Pixel 9 Pro Fold because that's what was just in my pocket. I had to run back in and grab a different phone to get another shot, but this again was the Pixel 9 Pro Fold just in night sight, not using the super long exposure. It was like a 6-second exposure or 4-second exposure, something like that. It was so bright. Of course, I wanted to see what some other phones would do, so I grabbed the OnePlus Open and I took this shot as well, which looked really, really cool also. And then I grabbed the Pixel 9 Pro XL, put it in the tripod, and did the long exposure so that I could get the stars and so forth appearing in the background of this. Also, look how bright pink that is. This blew my mind, and you can really see in the detail of the trees and the stars how much better it is than what I got with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold because of that longer exposure and, let's be honest, just a larger, better sensor. I was even able to take a selfie using the primary camera on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold that has me somewhat visible in it, and you can see that the sky is quite pink behind me. Took a shot of my wife, Jessie, as well. Kind of, you got to get a shot of yourself in the aurora, right? And just in case you're wondering, I did grab my S23 Ultra, which is used a lot on this channel for filming, and I took a handful of shots here as well with a very long exposure. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was a 30-second exposure, and this was in a tripod. I liked the colors, but it did get very sort of blurred and smeared, and I don't know what was causing that. But every shot I took was some degree of kind of blurry and smeared, even if the colors did look really, really nice. Overall, I was really pleased with how well astrophotography mode is working on these Pixel 9 devices, not only getting a photo of the aurora, but getting all of those stars visible in the background as well. Everything really nice and tack sharp. All I needed was a cheap tripod I bought off Amazon several years ago, put it in there, give it a second to realize it's in a tripod, click a button, and I would just go back inside. I go back inside and continue watching football, walk back out 10 minutes later, and just kind of see what I had. And I ended up with some amazing shots. Such a cool night, such a cool thing to experience. I would love to see from you guys what shots you managed to get. I know that you guys were doing the same thing. So maybe you're on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, if you're, have a public profile. Drop your link down below in the comments. I think that should be allowed. I think I allow links in the comments. So drop a comment down there, share some of your photos. I'd love to see them because it was just such a cool thing. It made me very happy. I hope it made you guys happy to be able to be a part of that as well. So guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.